Hello, officers. Good evening. Hope you're all doing well and welcome back. This is casework part 3, where I'll be explaining to you, as I mentioned in the earlier video, I'll be explaining to you about how to handle that casework sheet, how to use the casework sheet given to you with the inmates in the prison, right? As you see in the screen, this is your casework practical sheet, the first page. Yeah. And the next page is called as face sheet. It is kind of introductory sheet to the whole process you have already handled with the inmate. Yeah. And your casework session can go up to even 10 sessions or more also, because you are there only for a month. You can have at least 5 sessions and do whatever you can, being a learner. Okay. So you start with the casework face sheet, where you will be gathering details about the name. The name of the prisoner is confidential, so we are not giving the original name. So we will give dummy name, right? Then education qualification, occupation before coming to prison, right? And the marital status, whether he's married, unmarried, divorced, separated, whatever is it. This form is self-explanatory. Yeah. And when you come to question number 11, you have to check the problems he has because of being inside the prison. Incarceration means imprisonment. Because he is inside the prison, what are the problems he is facing? And that you have to note down, then go ahead with the process. Then finally, when you conclude, you come to the next part, and you will say what help you can do for the prisoner. Then this 11, 12, 13, you will have to fill up later. Okay, understood? Yes. Then you start with the educational history of the inmate. Okay, you start with this primary education, then high school education, higher secondary if he's an Indian inmate. Then what mode of education, which mode of education he had, whether it is homeschooling or whether he has gone to school. Okay, all those details you have to collect. For that, we have given certain questions. And the age at which he started education is very, very important, because if he started late, then you would have had lot of problems in the school. If he had to join class 1 by 5 years, and due to situation, if he has joined by 7 years, then he is lagging by 2 years. Okay, already the children will be all other children will be 5 years, and this fellow will be 7 years, so there'll be a lot of gap. So he would have started facing problem right from his school days, day 1, right? So he would have gained some leadership there. Okay, why are we going so much in detail? Because there he would have started certain qualities which would have contributed to his criminal behavior in the later part of his life. So that is why we start from his schooling history. Yeah, scholastic performance, of course. And yeah, we at each stage, maybe primary, high school, higher secondary, college, PG, or whatever, diploma, ITA, whatever, just find out whether what kind of student he is, whether he's a dull student, average student, or he has performed very well, whether he has taken some he did some remarkable achievements, whether he had extracurricular interest, whether he had interest in sports, just to know the person in depth, which will help to analyze why he has how to correct himself. right? These questions will help you to build good rapport with the person. Unless you know the person, you cannot deal with the problems of the person. You cannot help him to find out the solution. So let's go a little deeper into the person. Once you establish the rapport, then what happens? You start, he starts speaking with you. Let it not let that time of chatting, let it not go waste. So before going to speak to that person, you be sure you read this form well, and be sure what questions you're going to ask, and don't note down anything in front of it. Okay? As social workers, we are not supposed to do it, and because that will trigger a doubt in the person, which will break the relationship you have already, okay, you have already, established with the person. So you're not supposed to write down anything in front of the inmate, right? So now you are going into the educational history. One thing, you have to find out the educational pattern and which stream under which he has underwent education: CBSE, ICSE, metric, state syllabus, whatever it is. Yeah, just find out which stream under which he has undergone education. Then you have to check about his performance, how he performed. Say, for example, an inmate performed very well in his primary, then not so okay in his high school, then became very good in higher secondary, then later not so good in, collegiate education. If the just find out the graph, primary started well, then it's gone down, then up, then down, then up, or then constantly, in some state. If you find the graph to be like this, then you can put a lot of questions why this has gone down. Probably the child would have had some, you know a loss. Probably after primary he would have lost his parents, or mother, or father, or somebody whom he loves, or a sibling. This would have affected him mentally and would have become a stumbling block for his education. Then later he recovered by himself and became all right. Okay, so you have to be very professional in conducting this inquiry. Okay, so first you will find out what is the educational physical verification of what he has done, and then you will find out the performance of the person. You make a graph of his performance. Primary it started like this, then okay, till he finished his education, what is his performance graph? School performance graph. Then you have to ask him about his relationship with his teachers and peers, how he maintained his relationship. At primary level, it was okay. Then, when he came to high school, was he okay with his teachers? That is very, very important. For example, if he didn't like a teacher, he would have hated that subject, which is true in our lives also. Yeah. If I don't like maths teacher, I will never do math homework. So I'm going to be dull in math, right? So, but if it is a very strong feeling, then this is going to happen, right? A lot of children who don't like the teacher, still they perform very well in exams. But if the teacher is constantly hurting my ego, if the teacher is creating some inconvenience in me because of her behavior, her or his behavior, then it is going to have an impact on my future. It is going to do a lot of damage to my mental health, which may reflect as criminal activity. So that is why we are going deeper into his educational history. So you will check the education of the client, the performance level, the relationship he had with his teachers and peers. Peers means own age mates, not necessarily in his own class, maybe in the neighboring class or own age mates. Peer relationship, maybe in his neighborhood. Okay, this is about, and also we have to check whether he was interested in studies at all, or was he interested? Did his interest turn towards something else? Some children will be interested in, NCC or games or arts. Some people will be in crafts. Their education level will be very low, and other skills will be, will develop more. Some children by now, by the end of 12th standard or so, they will be very good in photography. They want to continue their future as a photographer, wildlife photographer, NGC photographer. Okay, but the parents will never allow that. Parents always want their children to be, good in education. They think education only, the theoretical learning of things only will benefit the children. So there will be a lot of struggle between the child and the parent. And ultimately what happens? The child will be in stress, and the child will start behaving negatively towards the parents, which will later contribute to some crime, which may contribute to some crime. So we get deeper into his educational history. And also, another dimension we got to check is whether he has developed any habits when he was a when he was studying. Okay, age at which he started drinking, age at which he started drugs, if he has, if he comes out with that, or slowly you can just try to get it. Whether he was sexually abused, whether he was sexually exploited by teachers or own or elders in the school, if he is a hostelite, whether he had sexual abuse in the hostel, right? There was a case where I came across a boy who lost his parents. So we found him a hostel and put him in a hostel, and he was there doing his studies so well, a very bright boy. But suddenly, when he was doing his eighth standard, he suddenly came back home and he didn't talk to anyone at all. He was just calm and quiet, and his brother came and complained to us that he is refusing to go back to the hostel. And he was not revealing why he is refusing. Then we had to interfere. I went and talked to him. Then he had shown me his, back, which is full of, nail marks. This is because the warden has harassed him and abused him sexually. So this fellow was much afraid to go back to the same place. You know, so he was expressing with me that if he goes back, if we force him to go back to the hostel, he will murder the warden, because he was not able to tolerate the abuse by the warden, homosexual abuse. Okay, so these kind of stories he will be having. This negative experience would have led him to may have contributed to his criminal action later, right? So would have contributed to this later. So that is why we are going deeper, deeper, right? So, and when we talk about talk more about his educational history deeper and deeper, we will be surprised to know that the person is highly talented, highly skilled. He would have won awards and rewards and whatnot, right? So unless you talk to the person, unless you spend time, unless you take some time to listen to people, we will never understand who is with us. Okay, so this is how you get deeper into the educational history. Don't forget to take details about all the dimensions. Okay, his educational qualification, his performance at school, his relationship with teachers and peers, his if he had developed any extra relationship, extra outside the school. Okay, sometimes when they travel from school to home, they develop extra relationship from other schools, or on the way, people who are standing on the way, or people who are trying to put these children into drug abuse, older people, they try to connect with these young children and try to abuse them. If it is a girl child, they get into, when they cross their 12 or 13, they get into relationship, premarital relationship. So we have to find out performance, the habits they develop, the relationship they had. Okay, and you know the premarital relationship, if he has developed anything, if he has had any sexual tortures, abuse, if he was curious and he willingly went for some sexual exploration. Yeah, and also, we have to find out if he had any problems. Yeah, alcoholic father, or abusive mother. Okay, uh, the many problems he had during his education. If he had no problem, absolutely he had a very good background, and if he was a very smart kid, absolutely no problem, and good family support, no problem. Just record it and go to next section. Okay, then we go for occupational history. Occupational history, we start analyzing about his occupational history. Why do we do this? If a person gets a job at the right age, right job, with the right salary, then we consider him to be okay. Yeah, he is one among the survival of the fittest. But social work doesn't believe in that. We don't believe in the survival of the fittest. We believe that all have equal opportunity to live in this earth, and we are supposed to give space to others. That is the belief of social work. So, occupational history is where that gives you a lot of details about the person. Yeah, the age at which he starts any occupation, any work, is very very important. If a person says, I started working by 5 years, I didn't do my schooling, then you have to put questions deeper. Why he started working at 5 years? Where did he work? Was he a bonded laborer? So all these questions you can check. Why do we do this? Because all this contribute to his criminal behavior later. So we go deeper into it. All right. Then he says, okay, I did my degree and then I joined this, that, and all. It's okay. Just go, just keep recording. Okay. Or a person says, I'm a school dropout. I didn't go after ninth. I started working. Okay. So you have to record as such age at which he started working, what kind of work he did, how much salary he earned. Why are we concerned about the income? There is there is a reason for taking note of his income. Why? Because if you start, it is human nature to start with low salary and to improve, right? But if he had any problems, okay, if he had any personality issues, if he had any mental health issues, or if he had any bad, a negative environment, negative influence, then he starts working for 2000 rupees and then goes for a work for 200 rupees and then comes back for 3000, then 20 rupees. If his income status is like this, starts with 2000, then comes to 200, then 20, then 30, then again 3000, there is some problem in his income. His job is not okay, or his personality is not Okay, so you can easily find out the contributing factor that is responsible for his criminal, performance. And then again you have to put questions as what he did with the income he earned. Okay, what he did with the income he earned. If he says that I gave it all to my mom, well and good, fine, he's a very good person, no problem, no more questions. Then he says after some time I started using it on my own. You ask why. Then he says I wanted to smoke cigarette, my mom wouldn't give money, I wanted to use drugs, I wanted to use alcohol, so I stopped giving money. Then you go deeper into questioning, right? So age at which he started work, what are the various jobs he has done. Okay, some people start as IT professional and finally end up as a coolie. That is also possible because of drug addiction. Okay, some people start as a coolie and become IT professional. That is also possible. Yeah, so anything is possible. So find out from the case history what has happened to him. And one side you talk about his occupation, the other side you talk about his income, how he spent it. Okay, that is very important. And then again we put these questions of whether he has developed any habits because of his work. Okay, he says I didn't have any habit, but when I started working, I started smoking cigarettes, I started doing social drinking, and then all these habits became inevitable. All right, so then what you do, start recording all those things. Okay, then he may say that I had a friend's gang who used to indulge in such and such things which attracted me, or I will never listen to them, but only one day I went with them, I got caught. All these things you will get only by just questioning them. Okay, keep questioning what, why, how, that's all. Yeah, then there also you have to put relationship questions. Yeah, as what is his relationship with his boss, what is his relationship with his colleagues, how did he have his relationship with others in the society community, has he ever contributed anything to the society. Okay, or has he spent all the income for himself, whether he's a socially responsible person. All these things you can find out. Yeah. Has he had any hatred towards anyone while he was working. And then we go to marital history. This is very, very interesting because, you know, till now I don't have any problem. Till I work, I don't have, I am absolutely satisfied. For example, okay, when I get into this history, marital history, then all my problems start. Even for a normal human being. Okay, till we get married, we are independent. We are not bound to anyone. But once we get married, it's a tie. Okay, some feel it's too much, too tight. So what happens? Marital bondage breaks. Okay, so we have to check his marital history, where to find out where actually his problem started. Hmm? In casework, we don't deal with the surface level problems. Say, for example, a person has fever. Okay, he complains of headache, vomiting, nausea, okay, and stomach pain, maybe body pain. We don't give tablet for headache, then vomiting separately, nausea separately, body pain separately. No, we don't do that. And any sensible medicos will not do that. Hmm? So what do? We'll just give a paracetamol and find out whether his fever is continuing. So we ask him to come after 2 days. If it is a simple problem, it is solved. If it has got some viral or bacterial infection, then we ask him to go for lab test. After doing a deeper analysis, The doctor finds out this infection is because of this virus or this bacteria and treat the virus or the bacteria, not the symptoms. That is the same thing we do in social work. That is why we go deeper into his history. Okay, we don't treat the symptoms, we treat only the core issue. Probably the core issue is he doesn't like his mother, or the core issue is he was cheated by a girl, so he doesn't like women at all, so he wants to murder women. The core problem is he was cheated by a financier. Okay, by a financier, so he wants to cheat people. He wants to cheat others through finance. The core issue. What is the actual problem? We have to find out that actual problem and treat that, so that all the symptoms will be all right. Yes. So that is why we go into his marital history. And remember, without building proper relationship, this doesn't happen. Okay. So marital history, what do we ask? When he got married, age at which he got married. That is very, very important. Say he says that I got married when I was 15 or 17 or 20 or 21, which is too immature for a boy, and 14, 13, 15, immature for a girl, right? So naturally, you can expect some problems, some crime you can anticipate. Yeah. So we go into the marital history of the person. So you have to ask age at which he got married, what kind of marriage it was, whether it was arranged, or is it a love marriage, or is it a Gandharva marriage. Hope you understand. Running away from home, or whether it is living together and getting into, marriage relationship. All these types of marriage you can ask, because each one has its own unique problems. Okay, right. If it is a love marriage, and if they have run away from homes, they'll have that guilt always staying inside them. So what happens? Even after 10 years or 12 years of living together, still that guilt is not treated. If the parents still don't accept their marriage, then what happens? Even after 10 years, I see couples getting separated. Emotionally, they get into the wedlock, right? They don't see caste, they don't see community, they don't see status, don't see who you are. Love is blind, you know. But later, even after 10 years, then they realize that that relationship is not okay, that caste is not okay, that community is not okay. Yeah, that bonding is not okay. Even after 10 years, I've seen, being a counselor, I've seen, couples getting separated after 10 years. I've read, I believe. I read a old couple getting divorced after so many years of living together, married together, right? So, I heard a story. I came across a story where at the age of 75 plus, a person got into second marriage and created problems in the family. There are a lot of issues in marital history. At the age of 75 plus, a person got married, right? After getting 3 children, 4 children, the person marries another woman, runs away. So marital history is very, very important. And as I was watching the Tamil episodes of Solvadalla Munmai, I see lots and lots of issues in marriage. you know uh, Women or men also, they keep changing relationship. I stay with you for 1 year, I marry you, I stay with you for 1 year, if I don't like you, I leave you, I go with another fellow, I will live with him for the sake of tali, I tie one tali and live. keep changing the person. When I see that, I was really, taken aback. There's lots and lots of things happening in the society. And I also saw one, National Geographic documentary where a girl was in a relationship with a boy. The boy brought him to India with a purpose. He used her only for smuggling of drugs. Finally, she was booked in drugs case. This I guess I came across when I was doing my PhD. And she was crying so badly that her marriage has given her prison. Right? So marital history, if you go deeper, you will get lot of insights. You will come to know why he has a problem. Right? So in marital history, we have to check whether he has premarital affairs, post-marital affairs, and how is his marital life. Okay, how is he? Some people very peacefully will manage all the three. Okay, they'll not have any issues. Premarital, post-marital, and the legally wedded wife. Okay, but for many people, they don't know the skills of doing it, and they get into lot of issues, lot of problems. And nowadays, thanks to WhatsApp, which has created lot of ridges in the families, problems in the families. Okay, married men trying to connect with lot of married women, spoiling their name, huh? Right? We are seeing every day in the news. Okay, can't do anything, right? But marital history is very, very important. So we are going for pre-marital history, post-marital history, then how is his relationship with his wife. Not only wife, we have to check how is his relationship with his in-laws. How he got married, whether it is love marriage or arranged marriage or whatever marriage it is. Okay, whether he has gone for dowry, whether they had any dowry issues. Okay, whether the girls side have paid all the dowry, or is it pending, was it pending, whether he was not okay with that. All these questions we have to put. And his relationship with his in-laws, okay, neighbors, all these things you have to find out. And number of children he has. Okay, uh, whether he has any problem with the children he has. Okay, whether he has mentally ill children, then again he will be depressed, which may lead to some criminal action. Okay, he wants to leave the girl, he wants to leave the child, or he wants to murder the child, he doesn't want to tolerate the child. So many issues are there. Whether he did not like girl children, but he has 3 girl children or 2 girl children. Okay, so many issues are there. So get deeper into it. So I have given you some clues which you can read for yourself and work out. And any habits he develops. Some people are very good teetotalers till they get married. After wedding, because of issues, they go for drinking, smoking, abuse of drugs. So just find out what habits he developed. Some people, they will not have any habit previously, good habits, but they will develop it after wedding, after the wives correct them. They get up early in the morning, they go for jogging, walking. Even that will become stressful for them. So just find out what are the habits he developed after marriage, whether he liked it or whether he did it by force, or was it causing stress on him. Okay, whether he involved in crime only after marriage. If it is so, why he involved in crime after marriage? Is it because the wife was pestering him to bring more money? Is it because he was not able to manage the relationship? Is it because of extramarital affairs which demanded more finance, because of which he indulged in crime? So that clues you will get when you go deeper into the marital history. Huh? Right. Now, after listening to all this in around 3 or 4 sessions, then you ask him what are the problems. For you, you need not go deeper into anything. Just ask him what are the problems he has in prison. Of course, generally they will say the food is not good. That is none of our business. Okay, definitely, any food, if you taste it by routine, you will feel it is useless. It is not good. Okay, even if you eat biryani all the 3 times, then the next day you won't feel like taking biryani. Okay, if it is a routine food, definitely you will have problems. So let us not worry about it. Ask genuine questions. What genuine problems he has? Probably he says, I want to write a book, but I am not getting paper and pen. Or he may ask that I want to learn such and such skill, but I am not getting it, getting resources. You can arrange for it. Yeah. Or he can cry and tell you that my wife is not visiting me. My children are not coming to visit me. My parents are not coming to visit. Most of the complaints maybe will be regarding family visits. Okay. The food aspect we cannot do anything. The accommodation aspect we cannot do anything. This is administrative matter. Okay, and you are all trainee officers there, and even if you join as officers, it is all, you can take it to the superintendent level, but it is administrative problem. We are not interfering in any of the administrative problem. We are just going to deal with this mental health problems. We are just going to strengthen his ego. We are going to deal with this. We are going to deal with this attitude. Okay, we are planning to correct his attitude, right? Okay, so problems in prison, what he is facing, and problems outside the prison. Probably he says my son is has to be put in school, or I have borrowed so much money, suddenly I came inside the prison, I'm not able to pay the EMIs. Okay, so many things will be there. When you talk to the people, I don't want to give you lead. So you talk to the people and find out what lots and lots of problems they have. Okay, inside the prison, outside the prison. Then comes problems that could be handled by you. From both the list, you select the problems which you can handle. For example, if you can counsel him about certain things, just talk to him about, counsel him and make him understand that this is the problem. All right. Um, So you select 2 3 problems. In the next session, I will be teaching you about how to, what are the therapies you can administer with him. What is the process of casework? Okay. And finally, what you will do is problems that need referral. For example, he says, I don't sleep in the night. Whom should you refer? Yes, psychiatrist. And he says, I have itching in my skin. Is that your problem? Are you supposed to deal with it? No. Refer him to doctor. He says, I feel like banging my head. It's a mental health issue. I feel very sad. I feel crying. Nights, all nights I cry. That's a mental health issue. You are not supposed to deal with it. Then he says, I don't see any reason for living. I don't feel like living at all. I just want to end my life. Again, don't deal with such cases. You have to immediately refer him to the counselor or to the doctor. All right. So be very careful when you're talking to inmates. Be very precise. You are just facilitators. Don't tell your stories. Okay. When you're putting questions, you look like my brother. You look like my sister. No, don't use such, you know, such leading statements. Okay. Don't get too involved with the inmates. Okay. We are just here to help the inmate. We are just going to facilitate and help him. Okay, so you will just finally find out what are the problems he has. Now after finding out, no, you just write a summary of what all you did. Okay, here you will write a summary of the entire thing. So and so I met, so and so aged is involved in this case. His educational standards are this, and he is and his marital history is married to one wife or two wives or three wives, or he had post marital things and all that. That you will write in a descriptive format. Okay, so every day if you take one case, you can finish it by 10 days, 10 cases. Okay, and when you're doing another case, you can still talk to this person and just note down what all you have, note it down. If you are smart enough, you can talk to as many people as possible, because you are not practically going to do any professional casework. You are just going to take down the history for learning. So you just talk to as many people as possible and try to get to know human beings, get to know the prisoners, their sufferings, their problems. Okay, so that you will understand the prison as a whole, the prisoners as a whole. Okay, once you understand, then we can plan what has to be done. Is that clear? Right. Okay, then the last sheet we can do it together. Hmm? The last sheet, leave it. It is page number 7 according to my sheet. You leave it for me. We can work together. Okay, when you bring it finally, we can sit and work it out. All right, any doubts, you can WhatsApp me. Hmm? Then after finishing all this, wait for my next class. You will do one or two interventions. I will give you in the next class the different therapies we have in casework. Hmm? One or two you administer and find out the results. That will be very exciting, right? Okay, so hope you all understood. In case you have any doubts, anything if I missed, you can always WhatsApp me your doubts, right? Thank you. See you in the next class. Have a great day. End.